Hello.
Hello.
I'm Callum.
And I'm father of modern Eurovision pop, Jimmy Jerker Thornfeld.
And that's Nick. And this is That's Eurovision, baby.
I'm enjoying that I'm taking over the bad duties. It feels right. Well, it feels correct.
It's just I'm so exhausted after that bit you do that I don't have the strength to reach for the soundboard.
Read him. Yes, mama.
I realized today I'm giving Marty McFly extra, Back to the Future.
No, I love that. Get you a hoverboard.
A bit 80s.
Yeah. No, but I think this is cute.
Shout out to the Tomb Raider fans.
Yeah.
It is my favorite gaming series of all time, so I just thought let's pay some homage to Miss Lara Croft.
And I'm not a fan of Tomb Raider, but I am a fan of large pyramid-shaped breasts. So
you're gonna love Eurovision.
Yeah. So it's really a week for me, isn't it?
So before we get into today's episode, let's give a little recap on what went down, I guess, last night, but this morning Australian time, which was the Amsterdam Eurovision party, which is the big chungus of pre-Eurovision events, if you will.
Big cheese.
The big cheese. Almost every act was there. I think there was 5 that weren't there.
Yeah, it's genuinely
big.
Stupid.
You Europeans need to know how good you have it to be able to take a 30-minute flight and basically be in another multinational city. It's an hour flight just to get from Brisbane to Sydney.
You don't know.
And all the cities in Australia look the same.
Yeah.
So just really be thankful if you got to go to that because you were European based and it was la 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 and we're here.
Yeah, we could take an hour flight and barely be out of Brisbane.
Queensland, yeah.
Brisbane. So,
classic. If you've ever flown from the east coast of Australia to Europe, you'll know the feeling of hitting 8 hours and only just leaving the Australian mainland.
Yeah.
It's real. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I just wanted to get any kind of top-level thoughts and feelings about the Amsterdam party. We did watch some crappy iPhone footage of a bunch of the performances. So any highlights for you?
My highlights, and I'm hoping that everyone's highlights will be some of the acts that we got to see finally perform live for the first time. So I think especially with our music video only internal selections.
Yeah.
Haven't get to see them perform before.
Definitely.
Including the inimitable, intangibly talented sexual hype beast that is Gojo, of course, for Australia.
What a surprise.
Yeah. But honestly, it was really good. And I just loved getting to see the early fan reaction of all the people just absolutely getting into it.
In today's episode, I wasn't planning to bring in a lot of Amsterdam stuff, but it was really cool to get a sense of how these songs can hype a crowd up. I think I was really excited. I saw JJ's performance. First time seeing him perform his opera. And as predicted, it's crazy. It's amazing. It was so cool to see the way Erica was able to hype up that crowd. And also our fave Cecile, I think it's...
Sorry, do you mean mother? Do you mean mommy?
Mommy. I think it's really renewed my faith that this Denmark could be a qualifier this year.
I really am feeling
breaking their 2020s drought. The last time they qualified was 2019, so we're at a 4-year-in-a-row streak. Yeah, a bit rough.
But thinking about today's episode, what are we talking about, Carl?
Yes, we are deep in the thick of our How to Win Eurovision discussion, parentheses, sort of win Eurovision.
Mostly.
Where we are talking about all of the competing countries this year and we are breaking down everything from the production of their songs to their live performances to just what we've gathered from the music video. And we are giving them suggestions about what we think they should do to give themselves their best possible shot to win, qualify, or just go home with their head held high.
Yeah, sometimes it's just about not getting booed off the stage.
Exactly, which is more than can be said about one of the entries we'll be talking about today.
Exactly.
But we've already had 2 episodes, so if you haven't watched them already, check it out. However, just know we're just talking about the countries in alphabetical order.
Exactly.
So if you've missed them, it's not like there's context you're missing. You can jump in and out however you want.
There's no bias here. We're going alphabetical.
There's no bias. You're obsessed with Gojo.
There's some bias here, but jumping into our first country.
Yes, so we've done everything from Albania to Finland.
Yep.
So now we are carrying on.
Sorry, why is what you said different to what I said? I said Albania to winning.
To winning, yes.
What did you say?
I said Albania to my winner pick too, yes, to Finland.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you want to see any of the countries alphabetical, they are in our previous episodes. We're starting today with France. Luan.
France!
Maman. So as you know, we have seen now, we saw her Amsterdam performance, which I think was really handy to see. And we've also seen that incredibly lavish Stade de France performance. So that's what we're going off. And that's what we're extrapolating our thoughts and feelings and trying to say, what does she need to do differently? Nick, the floor is yours.
So,
should we start with the semi-final placement?
Yes.
Actually?
So obviously, France not required to qualify. As part of
Yeah.
But
She's
where
fine.
we see them performing in the semi-final is right after Georgia.
Oh, interesting.
And right before Denmark in the second half of semi-final 2.
So this is going to be really good for Denmark. It's interesting that Georgia and France, 2 ballads. So, I mean, again, France has nothing to worry about because they qualify. But it's interesting that we have 2 ballads back to back. It's kind of unusual in the semi-finals. We obviously can't break down much about, will they qualify? Because they will. But
exactly. So
interesting to see where they place them.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about winning instead. So I think I'd like to start, as always, with the song. What are you thinking for the song?
Yeah, well, France is one of the countries in the winning contention. Like when we talk about winners, we're talking about Albania, Finland, Austria, France.
Finland.
And Finland, yes. Finland. I think there's another one in the rankings too. Netherlands.
Which I don't know if I agree with, but that's neither here nor there.
Anyway, so about the song has grown on me immensely since I first heard it. I think this song really benefits from listening to the recorded version. And so to listen to that and really I feel like the message was translated a lot clearer. Her voice is incredible. I think vocally she was able to deliver in both live performances we've seen, so we're fine there. I actually think this is like a Denmark situation where I don't really have many comments on the production. I have a lot of comments on the staging though. So what are your notes on production?
So I have a couple of little notes on the production. I think that we've obviously seen kind of the polar opposite ends of the spectrum, really, haven't we? Like we've seen performing to a small room in Amsterdam, and then we've seen performing to the Stade de France, dangling from a
Eurovision is nothing compared to what she did with that performance. It's like she's stepping down.
So I think that this song actually benefits massively from not being in a giant stadium context. I think that this song's at its best when it's more intimate at pared down.
Completely agree.
So I would probably like to see, in terms of the production, like I don't really want to see anything that we saw in the Stade de France, like the big energetic drums and all that sort of thing. I think that this song will benefit from what I think France has been doing really well for the last couple of years, actually, is like really intimate, like one-on-one conversational style staging. And also the production, I think, just needs to be like, her voice is incredible. Pare the production elements down and really just let her voice shine. And then my main thing, we saw it in the Stade de France. I can't remember if we saw it at Amsterdam. That ending thing where it's her recorded child voicing, "Mama." Cut that in the bin.
I think you're going to have a lot of enemies here.
Cut that.
I've seen the response to it. Look, we're cynical and we're not parents. So I think I want to give respect to the fact that this connects, that note especially connects with people.
But it's a bit pandery.
Yes, this song is, I would accuse the song of a bit jury pandering too. And I think it's a beautiful message. I too am not the biggest fan of using that child's voice at the end, but I do think if it's done considerately and if we incorporate it into some lovely staging, I do think it becomes less, what's the word? You have less reason to be cynical about it. So for me, like, I think that there's 2 notes I have from what we've seen so far. One is, and we've said it before, the Stade de France was not the place for this song. The song is intimate. It's like a conversation between 2 people, right?
Like,
and so
again, not undervaluing how like incredible and epic that performance was at the Stade de France, but
it's just not the right energy. The setting for it. Ik Come is a stadium song. Like that's what you do in an arena. This song is intimate and it's a conversation. So I think like Basel, she'll benefit from stripped back staging. Amsterdam Party, I got the sense that she sort of unintentionally zapped some of the jovial atmosphere from the room, and it's not her fault. But what I gathered from watching it a couple of years in a row now, those Amsterdam parties, is they are casual sort of fun events where the artists come up and they swear and they wear ridiculous, like Miriana Conti famously she was wearing her unitard that said "J'adore dick." That's what you're bringing to Amsterdam. And so I guess to have a song this earnest maybe killed the mood. However, I do just want to reiterate, sorry, I know it was very funny. I do just want to reiterate, this is not the fault of a fantastic and beautiful song. I think it's a fault of an environment thing.
Yeah,
so
it's just not really
this song is gonna, I still have a lot of faith that in Basel, with the right staging, this will shine. So Nick, give me some ideas for staging.
So some ideas for staging. I'm going to start with my don'ts.
Okay.
I'm going to start with no English lyrics on the back of the screen.
I think that's just an Amsterdam thing.
I think it's just an Amsterdam thing, but I just want to double down on that. I want no holograms or like projected imagery.
I have said very clearly, just to piggyback, no slideshows of pictures of mothers and children.
My secondary point was no family pictures.
Again, it veers into Hallmark movie if you do that. So it's not because it's just cynical gays wanting to like hate on love. No, it's like
it's a gorgeous song, and I think it cheapens itself by basically having to like do I understand what she's talking about. I'm not a parent.
The song actually is like, I know enough French to know the message of that song when I first heard it, and it was really quite emotional, right? So to your point, a slideshow almost it's taking a sappy message and it's just whacking me in the face with it.
Yeah.
Strip it back, because that's going to allow the message to be so much more singular and clearer.
I completely agree. And as I said before, I think that France has done so excellently the last few years with like really intimate, up close, cinematography and filming, like really in the face of the contestants, like beautiful, that's really telling like the emotional story behind songs. I would love to see more of that from them. That being said, it did drop very recently that the stage designer that they will be using for the French song this year is Nemo and Kari's set designer.
So I expect her to pop out of a cardboard box and then go onto a spinning top.
I do expect her to have several people on a leash with massive chompers. But it's a good sign. Yeah, I think it's a good sign. But to me, that maybe seems like they're leaning more towards the
use of something.
Yeah, the epic side of staging, which I think doesn't suit this song. But maybe that's just me. What do you think?
I agree. I don't have a lot of notes for staging for the song just because I think it should be simple. Yeah. My reference point is Barbara Parvy's Voila. Like, I know it's the French song of the last 5 years,
but I've never seen effective like lighting and cinema.
To me, the reason why it works so well is it's perfect cinematography, perfect lighting, and the song speaks for itself. And so I think really with what I'd love for Luan would be like really stark spotlights and really dark, like that sort of contrast between, dark and light. I love the idea that maybe she's singing to her mum, right? But the mum isn't like a physical, literal figure. She is omnipresent, I guess. So I want to feel like the camera almost is the mother figure. So emote to the camera, not to a hologram or to a slideshow. And I think that will connect with audiences and it will connect with people who have children because she'll be singing to us. And so that's really my only notes. I think there's a lot of freedom, I guess, to go with this. I don't have like a scene one, shot one, take one list here. And it's not because I'm not inspired. It's because I actually think this song can just be her performing.
I think that the best thing that this song could do is almost nothing for the staging, which is why, we probably don't have too many notes on what they need to do, because I think that as little as they can do, I think will really help bring the beauty for the song.
Again, win a contention. So we say the stuff that if she creates a moment on the stage where people are in tears, I can see a world where this can win the jury. So like and the last two winners have been jury winners. So shall we move on?
Speaking of jury winners, we got Georgia. We got Mariam Shengelia,
I believe so.
with Freedom. So,
Yeah.
song recommendations. Shall I go first?
Would you like to see what I've written here?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So, for me, sound mixing. Mix in a song that's not this song.
Oh, you're actually giving... Oh, okay.
Yeah, mix in a different song. Look, I like to think that we're a bit creative and we're a bit fun, but my main sound mixing recommendation would be to turn off the words.
So we watched her perform in Amsterdam, and we both had the same reaction of we felt bad because it was like look, she's already dead. Why are we doing this parade of humiliation?
Yeah,
it feels like its intent is. It just feels. It makes me feel weird watching it. It wasn't comfortable to watch her perform the song, to hear boos in the audience, and then to see her basically end the song and not even say thank you, just walk off stage to the most tepid reaction in I've ever seen. So all I've just said for recommendations for this song, because I don't want to spend too much time on it, is if she can just look gorgeous, serve a pretty dress, and serve vocals, and then peace out, and do it once in that semi-final she's in, then that's all we need.
Yeah. I just think, look, we don't like the song and we don't like her.
We don't like the message. No,
well,
I'm not going to say I don't dislike her.
Like, I don't like the message. I don't like the song. But I will say it is really hard to watch. Like, we are not one for public humiliation, like stoning in the streets and like throwing tomatoes.
If we don't like something, we will just not.
We just want it to be over.
We will just ignore it. We believe in starving a fire of oxygen.
Yeah,
that is our approach here.
Exactly, and it's just really hard to see, like. They knew what was going to happen, and I think it's been very obvious. I don't know if I want her to drop out of the press tour, because that feels like unfair to her, but I just don't want to have to see her like walk immediately off the stage.
No one is forcing you to do these pre-parties. Show up at Eurovision, deliver an impressively vocal performance. You're not going to qualify, so then go home being like, well, I did the best I could.
Exactly.
And I looked great. And that's all we can ask. We don't that's it. Like, what's this song's best? This song's best is
11th.
This song's best is not even 11th. This song's best is she did her best.
Yeah. Like she's got a lovely voice.
Yeah.
But there's probably not much. So let's move on to something that's a bit more fun.
That's something I'd love to talk about.
I would love to talk about Germany.
Yeah.
Aborrentina with la 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 la. Sorry for that. You can edit that out, right?
No, we're in sync.
Oh yeah.
La 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 la.
You do the bass. All right. Song notes for this.
Okay. Pour abor?
Yeah. I think that you and I are about to go down a very similar path, because my song note for this, Bubble Boy. Put that girl in an isolation room.
My song note for this was Armour Force, so I think we're in the same category here.
Perfect.
We all know those friends who seemingly jump between colds and flus and illnesses, and they are genuinely sick.
Yeah.
And you go like, I'm so sorry, like you just seem to catch infections like that. It
also,
seems
I
like
swear you were sick with something else last week.
That's what I'm saying. The friends who are like, they get over a sickness and then they have something else and you're like, oh wow. It seems like our diva angel is potentially a bit like that. So from word on the street is not only was she sick in the national final, which is why her vocals went great, she was sick in the Amsterdam performance as well, lost her voice. So they bumped up that backing track to the point where you basically couldn't hear her live vocals. And so there's not really a lot to judge on from a vocal performance. I guess all we can really say is come to Basel in good health and deliver the best, because you have Germany's best song
for quite some time. Because I will say I'd actually probably love if anyone in the audience here was at Amsterdam, was at the party, would love to hear, because honestly, like, unfortunately, being from Australia, we've only really watched it on crappy iPhone footage, but it seemed like the track was turned up so loud that you physically couldn't hear her singing.
Yeah.
So would be interested to know if that's what it was like in the room. Yes. Just because I couldn't hear a lick of it. It was basically the dubbed version.
But I will say, like, it's a vibe song anyway. Yeah. So like, whilst we obviously need vocals, it's not like this song relies on a beautiful vocal performance. Yeah. I'm just going to quickly see, where does it come in the semi-finals? I know it's automatically qualifying.
Yeah.
it's right at the end of semi-final 2, so I think it's going to be a nice little high energy hit for the end.
High energy hit in between two low energy songs.
So I think that's a really good place for it to just garner goodwill going into the final. And because
I think that people will already be starting to get excited for Finland by that point.
True.
You might be able to ride that high.
So we'll see. We'll see with that. So I think that's the main production note, because honestly, this song is a producer's delight. Like it is production-wise so fun. It's so exciting. Like I have nothing but praise to give this song. It just really relies on her coming through and being able to deliver, and I really hope she can.
My only note from the national final versus like the recorded track is I feel like all of the focus is on her and none of the focus is on the other person in the band, which is the electric cello player. Like the sound is really cool, and I think we saw a lot more of it in the recorded track than we did with the national final.
You could hear his cello a lot in the Amsterdam party too. And he's playing alternative top lines to what's recorded. And I found that kind of cool. Because you could hear the main cello line. But he was doing some bits on the side, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I'd just love to hear a little bit more of it. Like, I think it's really cool. But the staging.
Yes. So I'll say this. This is the coolest song of 2025. Like, what I mean by, like, this is a group of people who are just cool, and it's very Gen Z, and it's very, like, I feel... it's effortless, and I think like that's what you need to lean into this year. Like I think Germany would fail if it tried to do sort of high production polish. They just need to keep the dance floor going. Like we've got them just dancing and freestyling on stage. I just think keep that energy, keep that feeling of like the club. There was a performance they did on a German TV show where she had this kind of cool laser. Did you see where it was like a spotlight of like lasers around her, like a cage of lasers? That was super effective. She had background dancers. I think like if we just keep this like loose, free kind of like she's just at the club living her best life, old mates playing his electric cello. I think that's a winner. Like again, similar to France, I feel like the first couple of songs at the moment really don't have a lot of changes to be made, but it's because they're a really good package.
Yeah, it's because they're a good stock.
Or they're not a good package at all, and you don't want to comment on them.
So for me, for staging, I think going back to my note for the production, they are a duo. He was like shoved down the front of the stage and the camera was on him absolutely none of the time at the national final, which I thought was really strange. I would love to see him more central because
he's the producer. That was always the way. The lead singer always gets the bulk of the camera.
Yeah, the lead singer always gets the bulk of the camera, but he wasn't even on camera for the majority of the song because he was down the front of the stage where she walked down to eventually. But normally the producer's like up the back of the main stage and you can at least see them in the camera shot. I don't want to see him left out because I think he's really cool. My other note for this was, because I don't think that this needs to be like a big staging.
No.
I would love to see them give her something to anchor to. So I would love to see them give her like a microphone stand or something like sort of central that she can sort of anchor herself on.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that she like...
I love that.
Like dancing is like fun, but I think like having her have a spot where she can really like that's her spot and she sort of works her way around it, I think could be quite effective for this one. I could also kind of what I was thinking was I'd love to see like a set of downlights sort of like above her, and like as I do like left to right, right to left, whatever it is, but like like and just more. This is a song that I'm okay with having the words on the screen, but just the like I'm okay with that because I'd love to see. I think that there's like a fun thing that they could be doing with the lights for this staging, but otherwise, I think like she's charismatic and she can sing when she's not sick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have two creative notes extra that I would like to mention.
Yeah.
One is so you'll notice in the national finals, I believe she does a lot of work where she's kind of like up. Trying to pretending like she's holding the steady cam.
Yeah.
Is it possible? I was exploring this with a couple of songs. I think this would work the best too. If we could get like a VHS camcorder attached to like the live feed, so it's that like static kind of VHS vibe. She's holding that instead of a steady cam, so she's like filming herself on like a 90s style camcorder, doing some of the one verse of the song, kind of bringing it back to this kind of grungier, clubby vibe.
Yeah, no, I like that.
I think that could be cool. My other thing was let's borrow from Svada and Nikos Lusterka. Let's get Atina at the last part of the song
to take off his sparkly mask.
No. For him to join the choreo and for Abortina and the choreo and the dancers to do like a big joint bit at the end.
Oh, love that.
Right? So it gives him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Please keep Abor smashing the electric cello into the amp and the sparks coming out. I think that is perfect. And I think that would be a great opportunity to be like, I don't have an electric cello. I guess I must come up and start popping and locking. Like, I think that'd be very cool.
She said, you got to come dance. And he was like, oh, I don't want to. And
yeah,
she's like,
exactly.
Now
she's like, now you have
she
to.
Smashed it.
I think that would be a very fun end.
That's kind of cute.
Yes.
It's a little bit brother and sister.
It is.
Yeah, I
love
like that. So I feel like that kind of rounds out
moving on
Germany.
Yes. We like Germany is so good, and I just really want to sing Germany's praises for sending through such an exciting song because it's so unlike Germany to do.
I really, and now I'm appealing directly to the Eurovision audience. Please help this song do well, because I don't need it to win. I just need it to not come 24th, because Germany, much like the UK. They're really fucking trying, guys.
Unfortunately, if she can't deliver vocals, it may be worthy of that. But we'll have to wait for the day.
But what we won't have to worry about for vocals,
yes,
is our next song.
I love your little segues. You're really trying to link him through. Yeah.
We move to Greece.
Yes.
We have Claudia with Asteromat.
Yes. I think this is a bit like a Denmark where I don't really have any production notes. I have only staging notes because the staging is so disappointing.
Yeah. I have one really minor production note, which is where there's this violin-y synthy
love it.
Sort of
that
sound.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I feel like it comes through really well on the recorded version, and it didn't come through in the national final.
Yeah.
Again, I know that we're talking about different sound mixings, different realities, but I think that's my note, is that like that sound is so cool.
Look, any song with any sort of, say, electronic element to it, my note will always be punch it up, because like when you're able to hear like that arpeggiator that's in the background of Estela Mata, it's my favorite part of the song.
Oh yeah,
it's so beautiful. I want to hear that so clear, and I think that noise you're describing the same.
I think it's the same one, because my thing is that I found that the drums came through way too hard, and the synth and the violin-y sort of like the whatever that sound was. Just
there was both. There was a string instrument and there was an arpeggiator.
Yeah,
that was like,
I think both of them came through really well on the recorded version, and they just didn't come through on the national final. But the drum came through really, really hard on the national final. So I would just love to see that sort of like switched around.
But I'm confident that in Basel, the sound mixing in the final is so much better than the national final.
And Christ alive, like we know she's got the vocals.
She really does.
I kind of don't really have any notes for that. Like she nailed it.
So,
but the staging.
Who wants to start?
My first note.
Oh, Nick's gonna start.
My first note is ditch the cinnamon scroll, is what I'm calling it.
What do you mean?
That the loop, the cinnamon scroll of people that are around her.
Okay.
I actually kind of liked the idea of the staging, but nothing happened.
Yes.
We need a bit more motion. What I would have loved...
A bit more motion.
Just something to happen. I kind of had a little bit of an idea, because like I know I said ditch the cinnamon scroll. I actually kind of like the idea of like, imagine if they almost did like a Chinese dragon sort of thing where like the dancers are like underneath that train and it's got motion and it's moving up and down.
So you're talking about Caesar Romania 2014?
Yeah.
Opera vampire, remember?
Yeah, but maybe less in that vein.
But he had the dress that had all the dancers underneath it.
Yeah. I think that would be kind of cool, because I think then they wouldn't have to change a massive amount about the staging. I just think it would bring so much more motion in the ocean.
Yeah.
I also would love to see her do a little bit of like
anything.
I'd love to see a little bit of John's tears. Like I'd love to see a little bit of like,
that fluidity.
Yeah,
because John was not a dancer, but I think his movement really elevated the staging.
Exactly. I think that there was a bit of motion.
Yeah, I
just think it was good. I want to hear what you have to say about the staging.
Yeah, we're actually quite in alignment. Yeah. I think keep the cinnamon scroll, but I think the bones of the song...
Hey guys, this episode, #cinnamon scroll on X.
I think the bones of this are fantastic. So what I want Claudia in a gorgeous white gown, similar to what she's wearing. Like, it can be a pantsuit, I don't really care. What I would like is her to have a huge train, similar to what you're saying, the stages, similar to what you saw on the scroll, have dancers sort of woven into the train. So she's standing and there's like, lots of fabric everywhere. I think the first verse is quiet and still, and it's just her and a stage full of fabric. And then I think once you first get that electronic element come in, you start seeing the dancers start making movements, and so you can start seeing the fabric come to life around her. And then I think this dancing train idea comes to life, and so we start getting really cool shapes as the train kind of moves around. And in that Chinese dragon thing that you're saying, we start seeing shapes, really solid, strong shapes form. This is positive in two ways. One, Claudia doesn't have to do as much choreo.
Yep.
She's relying on really dynamic angles that are showing these dancers craft amazing shapes around her. And number two, I think it also just shows I think a more realized concept to what we got. I do like the spiral, and I think you could do a really dynamic top-down aerial shot of the spiral, but it has to be earned. Right now, they start lying there and they don't move. So if we have all these dynamic shapes, and then that's one of the vignettes, I think it becomes a lot more earned.
And because I think it would be so cool to see that top-down shot, especially when the cinnamon scroll is in motion.
Yes.
Totally. I really like that.
And so my other things would be I would love there to be a lot of fog on the stage. I'd love the lighting to be dark blue like the night sky, because Esther Mata is like a starry northern star guiding star vibe. So I'd love it to feel like the night sky. I'd love it to be white fog. I'd love it to be cracked pillars on the stage.
Ooh.
Not Greek columns, not we're not leaning into Greek culture. I'm thinking more just really beautiful sort of pillars, white mixing with the smoke. And so that as these dancers are making shapes and with these pillars and with that really dark contrasted background that's like a starry sky, I think that would allow the song to really come alive. And I think that's kind of it. My only other note was, do we have a Duncan Lawrence arcade where there's a orb of light as the star, sort of as a piece to it too?
I did kind of have that thought as well, because I think that would be kind of effective. I don't want to see her looking at it and gesturing to it. I think I would just kind of love to see, just even just on the screen in the background, just a northern star. Maybe what happens is the starry night sky background, one of the stars gets a bit brighter, and then what you can see down the bottom that you didn't see before is kind of almost like a villagey sort of scene where it's coming home.
Yeah, and if you watch the music video, I think what you're referencing is quite in tune with that. But I think it's so interesting. This song feels like it had a fantastic idea that then just wasn't able to be executed, so they had to just stay on the ground.
Yeah.
The dancing train is super original.
Yeah.
I think could look amazing, but it has to not just be flat. If there is dynamism to this song will do amazingly.
Yeah. Because I think that what we saw, especially in the national final, was you saw the dancers laying, and then you saw them up and start to move. I was like, something really cool is going to happen. And then just nothing kind of did.
Oh, and my other final note is the final part where the final chorus, she belts the song, the beat drops back in. I'd love there to be a bit of a gag where the train breaks off of her and the dancers in their little fabric pieces all can break apart. And so they're no longer together. They're now creating their own shapes. I think that would be very cool sort of payoff to that.
Yeah, my only other staging note was if you haven't seen Claudia's Eurovision a little bit more,
just a little bit, a little bit extra.
Yeah.
A little bit extra.
A little bit Nissan extra. If you haven't seen it, there's a dog on the couch with her, and the dog is very suspicious of the camera. Bring him.
Yeah.
Because, oh shit, that was funny. She's giving this beautiful, emotional, heartfelt performance of this song, and the cameraman's just moving around the living room, and the dog's just on the couch
side eye. Can I segue us to the next song, please?
I would love you to.
Speaking of songs with dogs, let's talk about Ireland.
Sure. Yep.
That was good.
That was beautiful.
Better than your last episode. Speaking of people.
Speaking of women.
Yeah. Speaking of songs.
Yeah. Speaking of women singing.
Yes, we're talking about. Oh no, it was Iceland.
I know that I wasn't going to comment on it, but
wait. No. Speaking of. No, I've got it. Give me what's a segue between Greece and...
Speaking of boats.
Where are we speaking of boats?
Iceland.
Greek. Odyssey.
Fishing.
Boats.
Yeah.
Iceland.
Perfect.
We're talking about vibes, Roa.
Are we? Are we sure?
I don't know anymore. I had the best segue ever. I'm so upset. Damn you, alphabetical order, ruining my segue.
I'm talking about Iceland. I don't know what you're talking about. We are speaking about Roa by Vibe.
Like a Party by Vibe.
What do you think about the song?
It needs more dogs.
That could be a note that could be applied to almost any song. Except Ireland is the only entry that needs less dogs.
Okay. Iceland, pump up the beats a lot more. Take me to a sea shanty dance floor on the Basel stage.
I just want more fiddle.
I want that fiddle to like tingle through me. That gif of Cynthia Erivo, where she's like,
oh yeah, I want to feel the fiddle in my veins.
That. Again, this is another song where I think there's a lot of staging notes because I think we watched the national final and the mix was really good, so I'm pretty okay with them. And vocally, again, I think they were able to keep the breath control in such a high energy song, so I think like credit to them. They weren't vocally bad.
Like my thing is that I think that the key change is maybe like half an octave too high for the singing brother, and I think it like he had a bit of difficulty keeping up with that.
The singing brother,
yeah. I mean, there's the rapping brother, and then there's the sinking brother. So yeah, I think like the key change, like I think he can hit it because he was on it for the most part, but I think it was just probably like slightly out of his range. My other note for the I just want more fiddle, and then my other note for the production was in the verses. There's a really 80s keyboardy synth that is so quiet, but it's kind of camp, and I really want them to pump it up. Go back and listen to the song.
It.
Yeah, like I heard it as we were listening through it today, and I just remember being like, like it was very cool. I liked it, so I'd love to hear a little bit more of that. What are your notes for the staging?
Is that keyboard going to help them win?
I think that keyboard will help them win, and I'll play it.
Yes. Staging wise, I have a lot of notes. So I am obsessed with this fisherman sea shanty motif. We are both obsessed with Unger and Freya's. With Unger and Freya, we both went to a silent disco like a year or two ago, where they were playing like some Norwegian EDM sea shanty, and it like made me so happy.
Yeah.
So this is our chance to finally get that at Eurovision. What I would love, so if you've watched the national final, they have this 2 pieces of plywood that they make to look like a boat and just some fantastic choreo in it. I think like let's bring that boat to life. So I actually have no notes on the choreo because I think the choreo was fantastic.
My main note was pay those fucking dancers.
Yeah, they were really good
because they ate that stage.
The energy was there. So what I would love to see is less of a plywood boat and that awful clip art effect.
Oh,
like,
hated that.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Why not get like some form of rowing boat on the stage? And okay, how do we make this work? I love fog. Fog can do a lot. Fill the stage with fog so that it looks like they're rowing a boat on a sea of fog.
I said floor LEDs, make it look like water. And then, yeah, I agree, like pump in a bit of fog so it looks like they're kind of lost at sea.
And then like, I like the idea they're lost at sea, and then I like the idea that maybe the dancers are in the fake water doing the choreo. Tie in that really tight choreo. I think I would love the song to progress from like clear blue skies into like a storm, and it gets really like rough and stuff, and then they like fall off the boat, and then the final chorus, they're all doing their bits in like the water, right?
Get the dancers shaking the boat.
Yeah, maybe do something with the boat where it's like now, I don't know, like being danced with. Something like that. I just think like I like the story of like they're on a boat. It's like them doing the bit, and then like it's storms coming, and they've got like the spyglass. Yeah. They've got like the sort of fishermen, like all that stuff. They've kind of nailed it. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Like I know this song is kind of predicted not to qualify, but I think that like their concept is strong. Their energy is strong. Yeah. I think for them to qualify, I think they just need to, they're in the first slot. We should probably talk about their running order. They're in the number 1 in semi-final 1. So they're opening
the first act
the
that we're going to see.
Eurovision Song Contest. And it's the first song since semi-finals have been decided by production. It's the first ever time a song's not in English. So that's really exciting. And I think that is a testament to the infectious energy they're able to bring.
Yeah.
I think their biggest challenge is just staying memorable and staying quality because first semi-final is all men and it's all male pop. And I think this song's biggest challenge is just keeping its reputation alive. So I think what they have to do is have a memorable staging thing. If they can create a storm on stage and a capsizing boat and be super memorable, I think they can scratch like 10th or 9th place to like get to the final.
Yeah. So my main note for the staging on this was I think it already had, but if not, get a hyped up kid on cordial in to come and design the staging for this song. Because I think that this song benefits from the slightly manic energy.
Yeah. Well, they already have the hyped up kid on cordial.
Exactly.
It's both of them.
Exactly. But what I would love to see...
check some E numbers before they get on stage.
I completely agree with your notes. Get a bigger boat. Make the floor look like water. Put a bit of fog around. Make it look like they're at sea. Stormy. Just before the key change, I want to see them jump off the boat. And then I want to see them almost like top-down camera. They're like laid on like pool noodles or like flotation rings or whatever you want to call it. Just like floating around in the sea. I just think that that's a little bit stupid because I think that this song will benefit. Like the stupider this song is, the better it will be.
Because again, it is your mistake if you think this song is a joke. It's not a joke. It's just fun. So lean into having fun.
Exactly. Speaking of dogs.
Oh my God, the segue. Speaking of, okay, no, I've got it. Rather than being lost at sea, what if you were lost in space?
Oh.
And that brings us to Ireland. Emmy's Like a Party.
Woo! That was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hype him up in the comments for that. That was good.
I redeemed myself from whatever the hell the last one was.
I was really proud of you and I was willing to just keep it going. But that's okay. Now we're talking about Ireland.
They are in the second semi-final. They're in third place. I don't love the spot for them.
Yeah.
I think this spot is going to be very easy for them to be forgotten. We're kicking off strong with Australia.
Yep.
I worry for Montenegro, but we'll touch upon that later.
Yep.
And then we've also got quality in Latvia that I worry that Ireland is facing a tough battle ahead of them.
I completely agree because the thing is like, so if you want to have fun, you got Australia first. If you want a ballad, you got Montenegro. If you want a beautiful song, you've got Latvia. And then if you want something that's just
upbeat,
energetic,
fun,
you've got Armenia. So where does Ireland kind of fit into that? So I do think that they've got a tough spot.
And also, if we're going to jump into vocals or like production, I don't think Emmy's very strong vocally. Now, that's okay. Like, I don't need everyone to be a good singer. But I think if you're going to have sort of a vocal performance that isn't super strong, the song needs to have a little bit more dynamism than this.
I completely
It's too
agree.
one note.
My main thing was I feel like the song feels a little bit lifeless on the stage.
So, yeah, Amsterdam Party, I was kind of unimpressed by it.
Yeah, because I think that like whatever choreo they've got her doing, I think it... and again, we wouldn't have seen backup dancers at the national final, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think that whatever they had her doing on stage felt a bit limp and lifeless, and I really didn't like it.
Do you know what it's giving? It's giving J-pop. You know, like that sort of 2000s, early 2010s J-pop where it was like... And K-pop sort of borrows into this too, where it's like very simple sort of like cutesy movements. I think that's what... And this gimmick of the hand movements, I just don't think it's strong enough to make the song memorable.
No, I completely agree. To me, it feels a little bit lifeless. I think that the music video, like the official music video, has it a lot more right.
Yes, it inspired me to come up with some staging concepts.
I completely agree. I'd love to hear about them.
So I actually think lean into... This song is childish and that's fully okay. Like I love a song that's a bit, starry-eyed and childish. I think play around with this idea of making the stage look like a children's diorama of space. So rather than being like that awful AI generated imagery of Laika in space and those bones, I think play around with like cardboard stars and like, like
a little bit of a hark back to the school child.
Like school space diorama. I love the idea of a giant cardboard rocket that she kind of starts and it's behind, it's like 2D and then she like emerges from, right? Like, make the dog kind of a kitschy 2D thing.
Get her riding on it at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She could be riding it at the end. I think you'd put lights in the cardboard so the lights kind of twinkle like the stars do. But I think that's probably my biggest direction is lean into the fact that this song is youthful. And I think people really appreciate like something. I think that would stand out a lot because everyone's going for refinement and you're actually now in your own lane. And I completely agree. The rocket flying around, you could do something really cool, or if everything's like against a backdrop, maybe everything's like attached by like wood or something. So some person is behind the backdrop, like controlling the rocket. So it looks like it's flying on like a 2D plane.
Oh, that's quite... I think that's quite sweet.
Kitschy and it's cute. And like I said, you can make the dog like a cardboard cutout too.
Yeah.
My other note was...
Or you can borrow Claftier's.
You can borrow Claftier's dog and Iceland's dog too. And then my other note was I hate the silver romper and I think she would look much better off in a full astronaut ensemble.
Yeah.
And my other...
Especially because Vibe have already got the silver romper game locked down.
Get her in an astronaut thing and maybe start her off in like this astronaut's helmet and see if you can like rig it with some like LED lights that go like, I love Leica, or, you know, like it comes up with a little message.
Yeah.
Takes the helmet off and starts the song.
Because who have we already seen doing the face screen over visuals? Who did we see that was doing that? Someone's already doing that.
Nope.
Was that 2021?
I don't know what you're talking about, sorry.
Somebody had like masks on and it had words.
Oh, you're talking about, Adrenalina, where the backing dancers had
sorry.
So
we watched 2021 last night, so I think I'm hallucinating.
So yeah, they're my notes. I think if she really leans into kitschiness, she has a chance of qualifying, because I do think people really like this song. And if she can embody the playfulness of the song and really communicate that, I can see this scraping by. I just worry that everything I've been presented from like the creative team and visually, I just go, it's a relatively low energy song. Like it's boppy, but like it's not delivered with a lot of like energy. I just worry that if you don't deliver something, or you only deliver what we've gotten so far, if you just deliver like guy on keyboard with the star glasses and her being like bum bum ba bum bum, but you're just not gonna qualify.
I actually really
give me your thoughts. Now's your moment.
I actually really liked the keyboard guy. I'd love to bring him more to the front.
Make a moment out of him for sure, and you could do the kitschy cardboard thing with him too.
Yeah. So what I saw for this one was probably was very influenced by the music video. I think I quite enjoyed the fake spaceship sort of interior. I thought that was kind of fun. Cool. What I would actually kind of love is going back to unfortunately probably Russia. I want to say Sergei Lazarev, You're the Only One, like where he had that LED panel backing that he could sort of like climb up that made him look like he was in zero gravity.
Yes.
I could kind of see something like that for this one, where it's like inside the spaceship and then all of a sudden we're like out in space and we're looking for Leica and all that sort of fun. Like, I think that's okay. I think that she needs to let the dancers dance, and I think that they probably need to take the choreo.
And I don't think... I think if I'm to look into my crystal ball, I think that the sort of cutesy dancing is probably what they see as the selling point of the song. The fact that everyone in the crowd going bum bum ba bum bum. I think that's how they see.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's strong enough.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to be surprised if it did qualify. I think there's enough of a fan base around it.
It does seem to have fans.
It has enough of like a funness to it.
Yeah. It's not a bad song.
I just worry that if it's
not in a good spot.
I just worry that if it's too minimal and if it's too reliant on this cutesy dance, I think that it's just going to come across as sort of no budget.
Junior Eurovision.
Yeah. Which is ironic considering I said make the staging a children's diorama. But I think that at least is giving...
Yeah.
That's giving a vision and it's giving execution. And I think that songs like this, I think you really need to have... clear direction.
I think that she needs to step over the bridge from tacky to camp.
Sure.
I actually,
cutesy now has to be camp.
Yeah, I actually quite like your idea for the staging, and I think that would be really, really cool.
I think it would look so different.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
But that kind of wraps us up for today's episode.
6 songs in the can.
Exactly.
We've got 6 more to come next week, so please join us for that. Yeah. But any closing thoughts, Nick?
I actually really enjoy that looking forward and looking backwards to all of the weeks that we've got for these. We're doing them 6 by 6. Every single week has hot contenders that I think really have a chance. Like, I've said it before, I just really love how much this year doesn't feel like a 2-horse race. It really feels like on the night, this could go one of like 10 ways.
I think it's one of those years where underdog country, if they deliver incredible staging, could maybe pull out a win.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and I don't have the answer, but I wouldn't be surprised if in some crazy world we get a artist come out with the most incredible staging and win. I very much could see that happening.
Because my thing is that if I sort of go top to bottom, like on the night, I could see any of like Poland, potentially Estonia, Ukraine, probably not, Sweden.
We're doing a predictions episode.
Norway, but like maybe even Cyprus or the Netherlands. But like, I'm only through the first semi-final, and I could already see like anywhere up to like 5 of them winning, and that's, I would say, probably the weaker semi-final as well.
So yeah,
and Albania.
The cynical part of my head goes when you don't have as much quality and you're kind of dealing with a more middling pool. Of course, it's a bit clearer. I disagree. I think that's just some of the people's discourse. But I completely agree with you, Nick. I think we're looking at a year where there's a lot of horses in the race, and I think that's going to make a very exciting event.
Exactly. I'm sick of it really coming down to like a war between X and Y.
Yes.
Because it's never any fun, because I think that people take it a little bit too seriously and try and start war with anyone that's like that is rooting for X or Y.
They do that anyway.
Yeah, like there'll still be people that'll be willing to go to war.
Some of the comments on our ranking video really suggested that people just did not comprehend that someone could think differently to them.
Exactly.
But that is not the point of this video.
No.
I think that we have 6
incredible songs.
We have 5 incredible songs and one propaganda song. But again, I think there's some really cool staging things. One of the things I was most surprised by is some of these songs we actually had very little notes for, and that's a great thing, because it means that their package is clear and their package is strong. Like I think if we're giving like, you know, full breakdowns telling us that they need to change a lot.
Yeah.
So credit to those countries, but looking forward to it, and looking forward to continuing just chatting about all these extremely exciting songs and what they could do to really blow them a little socks off in Basel 2025.
I completely agree, and I think what I'm looking forward to most as well is hearing from you. I would love nothing more than to have people down in the comments respectfully. It doesn't matter if you disagree with us, as long as you're nice about it. We would love to hear differing opinions from ours, because that's how you form a better world. Like, tell us what ideas you've got. If you want to see Emmy do 16 backflips with a dog in her hands, like, that's cool. Tell us. We want to know.
That was my backup idea.
Yeah. But as always, give us a like, give us a subscribe, jump down in the comments. We're very active. We're always wanting to hear from people. We're really enjoying the little community of people that we're building, that are underneath every video, like interacting with each other, having a chat, and bringing fun ideas to the table. But for me, that's just Eurovision, baby.
Baby. Bye, guys.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.